Trump. Indeed, President Trump coincidentally validated the 2026 crypto market mega cycle. It is behaving as though it is aware of what will occur. Bitcoins are becoming more active. Institutions may appear to be sneaking up on individuals like they're late to the party, but in reality, everything was planned behind the scenes. And you know what? This video is now being viewed by you. You're at the forefront of something significant. The celebration is about to start. So let's begin. Have you ever noticed how the market can act at the ideal moment? It appears to have been prearranged. Consider this. The band rises when the US stock market starts, and then Bitcoin suddenly plummets 6% like a bull stake. Yes, exactly. My particular favorite group followed next. In the first half hour, they probably reached a volume of more than $1 billion. That is not being considerate. A feeding frenzy, that is. You got it too. Behind the curtain is Vanguard. Yes, we exclusively invest in slow-moving, safe ventures. Vanguard manufactures this. That conservative attire. In their luggage, they have some dragon juice. A range of spicy sauces. It appears to be yes, we may say. It would be like watching your calm, strange uncle, the accountant, enter a casino, untie his necktie, and set down a large pile of blackjack chips. It wasn't the store, which was the finest part. The hype wasn't real. Big money moving was fine-tuned. This is the kind of decision that can only be made by someone who understands what the market will look like in the future. Watch out, Vanguard, because they're going to say something that contradicts their previous statements, and it's quite hilarious. Additionally, always hit the thumbs up button. The greatest and most cost-free method to support the channel is this. Subscribe if you haven't already. One more query. Does anyone recall Vanguard saying in this video that cryptocurrency doesn't belong? Their CEO's statement that Bitcoin has no value was made with the long term in mind. Well, nothing yells, so let's discuss that. We will not even allow your client to purchase Bitcoin ETFs prior to their public offering since we detest the cryptocurrency. Listen carefully. The issue of spot Bitcoin ETFs was raised. We're aware that you won't give one. Have you decided against it? How are you going to change your mind? We have no intention of doing so. Unless the asset type changes, we won't be changing our opinions about this. To answer your question, we don't believe that a Bitcoin ETF is a suitable addition to a long-term investment strategy. They ought to be saved for retirement. It is a dangerous investment. That's the reality. Furthermore, the funds we provide make investments in assets with actual cash flow. Purchasing forward results entails purchasing what are known as stocks. Payments for both the capital and the coupon can be found at that link. Yes. I want you to pay me back for the money I provided you. Exactly. In order to appreciate both of them. That's it for us then. We can learn from them as we know why they would advance in a portfolio and what role they will play. For instance, Bitcoin is not a smart way to save money and fluctuates too quickly. Not at all. It is constantly changing. Bitcoin declined along with the stock market during the most recent crisis in Sky. It's only a hypothesis in this instance. How it fits into a long-term strategy is difficult to envision. Those insane phrases are going to bite you in the rear now, aren't they? They seem to have informed everyone that cryptocurrency isn't for significant purchasers. Why say, hey, you didn't hear that from us, while stealthily opening the back door? It's the same tale, people. JP Morgan took the same action. As you may recall, Haim Diamond threatened to fire his employees if they discussed Bitcoin at work. Why? Haim Dorman was preoccupied with gathering his thoughts. This is always done by institutions just prior to a major cycle. They covertly increase the asset while publicly devaluing it. If you're thinking, okay, but how do I stack Bitcoin safely without worrying about hacks, sketchy platforms, or monthly fees? After observing how the major banks operate, you're doing things correctly. I am confident that Capital Look is today's sponsor because of this. They make use of Coinbase's premium custody and fidelity, the same security level used by large institutions. With your cryptocurrency, you wouldn't trust a random trade, would you? There are no regular costs, no bullshit, and no contracts. The simplest and most secure method for keeping your Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency in a tax-advantaged account is this one. In this manner, your gains will belong to you and not Uncle Sam when this supercycle occurs. The link is included in my movie's description below. After just 5 minutes of setup, you will receive a complimentary $100. This is when it becomes humorous, so let's return to the story. In my opinion, this ought to be a part of someone's stand-up routine. Vanguard stated that cryptocurrency isn't a good way to save money the very following day. Additionally, their Bitcoin ETF volume reached $1 billion in just 30 minutes. Before every major cycle occurs, picture yourself screaming, "I detest pizza," while simultaneously holding a whole pepperoni pizza in your mouth. People think about this, don't they? Your establishments refuse, stop, then criticize, develop FOMO, and then submit it in its entirety. The music begins to alter in this section of the film. The quiet buildup is finished. We go to this point where Bank of America has now formally entered the room while the drums start to play. The institutional wave resumes just when you think it's finished for the day. With their hands raised like this, the large banks enter like the Avengers getting ready. Bank of America is a private bank and fund manager with over $202 trillion in assets. They stated that their advisors will be able to invest 1% to 4% of their funds in Bitcoin beginning in January 2026. Yeah, we should probably let our rich clients get ready before this thing blows up, are the words of the US's most powerful money-making machinery. The fact that the BITB was selected as one of the options is enormous. Crypto isn't growing in popularity. Nowadays, everyone uses cryptocurrency. Wall Street is only now catching up. We next proceed to XRPENOW.com. However, our narrative doesn't finish there. You should bookmark and frequently use this link. You simply need to stop here. Learn everything there is to know about XRP and Ripple. Because of this, the following news concerning Ripple's largest move to date in Nigeria surfaced. This is when the narrative gets insane, people. At this point, cryptocurrency ceases to be just numbers and begins to represent power in the actual world. I believe I said that Redop recently added Ripple, but I was almost right. This will make it possible to send digital assets to Nigeria's end communities instantaneously. One of the busiest cryptocurrency markets in the world is this one. We can also credit this with resolving one of the major global financial issues. Money transfers back home are expensive and time-consuming. Fast payouts and transparent pricing have taken the place of days-long transfers and outrageous fees. This is the cool part about it all. Here's where it's visible. It goes beyond XRP. They will be capable of managing several assets across numerous networks: ETH, Tron USD, Solana, BNB, Toncoin, and even USDC. This highway has a lot of advantages. It's an simple strategy to seize the largest market in Africa and introduce Ripple's stablecoin, RLUSD, next. Nigeria is the 6th most crypto-using nation in the world, in case you were unaware. In an area where usage is already skyrocketing, Ripple is raising a flag. This isn't the title of a news article. Real infrastructure is being constructed there in front of you. This is how cryptocurrency is entering the global financial system. This leads us to this point. The macro traders you can hear now are also favorable. As if you needed more than the institutional flood we just discussed. Max Kentner from HSBC is the subject of our conversation. One of those men who truly understands how money moves is him. The dip is more of a sign to buy than to sell, he remarked. Yes, on my behalf, thank you. This December won't be all that different, in my opinion. As it happens, the Fed is probably going to lower